Welcome back to our channel, guys. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the scandalous, twisted web of Fairmont Crest. And let me tell you, the drama is absolutely boiling over right now. We are getting straight into the madness because the latest moves being made in town are going to leave your jaw on the floor. Let us jump immediately into the hurricane that is Heather. If you ask me, Andre is playing a very dangerous, incredibly foolish game. He actually believes that by simply telling Heather to back off, he has successfully protected his fragile marriage to Danny. He thinks he can just draw a line in the sand and a woman like Heather will respect it. But we know better, don't we? Heather is not a woman who understands the concept of boundaries. She is an international crime boss, a woman who thrives on chaos, control, and manipulation. When Andre pushed her away and demanded she keep her distance, he didn't extinguish the fire burning inside her. He merely redirected the flames. Heather views his rejection not as a defeat, but as a temporary, annoying roadblock. She is a predator, and when a predator is denied its chosen prey, it doesn't just go to sleep. It starts prowling the perimeter, looking for a new way to strike, a new angle to exploit, and a new target to consume. So, what exactly does a restless, rejected mastermind do when she is left to her own devices? She reaches for her phone to summon her playthings. Heather decides to call Vanessa, and then she dials Danny. But here is the absolute kicker that made me laugh out loud. They are both completely busy and unavailable. Can you even imagine the sheer indignation on Heather's face in that moment? This is a woman who commands a global underground plasma ring. She is used to snapping her fingers and having people jump to attention, ready to do her bidding. Yet, here she is in Fairmont Crest, being sent to voicemail by a casino manager's girlfriend and a PR maven who is currently drowning in her own marital drama. If you ask me, this was the exact catalyst that shifted Heather's mood from mildly annoyed to dangerously impatient. Being ignored is the ultimate insult to a narcissist of her caliber. She desperately needs an outlet, a pawn to move across her chessboard, and the isolation is only fueling her destructive, chaotic appetite. Let us take a quick second to analyze why Danny was unavailable to answer that call, because it adds such a delicious layer of irony to the situation. Danny is currently fighting a war on multiple fronts. She is being relentlessly grilled by her parents, Vernon and Anita, who are terrified she is going to fall back into the toxic vortex of her ex-husband, Bill. Danny is so consumed with hiding her elevator hookup, managing Andre's growing suspicions, and battling Haley that she completely missed a call from the very woman who holds the power to destroy her husband's life. Danny is in a state of high paranoia. If she had answered Heather's call, she might have unwittingly walked right into a psychological trap and cracked under the pressure. But her absence, while lucky for her in the short term, only served to agitate the beast further. While Heather is pacing the floors and fuming over her unreturned calls, let us shift our focus to Vanessa, who is currently dealing with her own unique brand of chaos. Vanessa is pouring all of her frantic, anxious energy into a massive overhaul of the VIP suite at the casino. She has brought in Jalen, a highly sought after interior designer, to completely transform the space. Now, I love Vanessa, but let us be completely real here. This redecorating project is nothing more than a giant, expensive psychological band-aid. She knows deep down that Joey is hiding incredibly dark, dangerous secrets about his criminal past and his estranged sister. She feels the walls of his underworld closing in on her. So, what does she do? She obsesses over luxury fabric swatches, lighting fixtures, and custom furniture. It is a classic textbook coping mechanism to regain a sense of control in a life that is rapidly spiraling out of her hands. During their consultation, Jalen sits down with Vanessa and casually drops a fascinating, juicy little nugget of information. He mentions that he is currently dealing with an incredibly demanding, downright difficult client, and he reveals that the client is none other than Leslie. Oh, guys, this makes absolute perfect sense to me. Of course, Leslie is a nightmare client right now. If you look at her recent track record, it is a masterclass in emotional instability. She just dumped Marcel because his lifestyle wasn't good enough for her. She is obsessively pining over Ted, leaving wine at his door, and she is constantly clashing with everyone at the clinic. Leslie is a woman who is entirely unmoored from reality. She is desperate for validation and wants her surroundings to reflect the grand romantic life she feels she was denied when Ted chose Shanice. She is taking all of her internal chaos, her romantic frustration, and her deep-seated loneliness, and she is projecting it entirely onto poor Jalen's color palettes and furniture choices. I can just picture Leslie demanding impossible last-minute design changes simply because she is secretly agonizing over the fact that Ted is happy with someone else. Because of Leslie's endless, exhausting demands, Jalen informs Vanessa that his schedule is completely jammed and the earliest he can possibly start working on the casino's VIP suite is late September. But Vanessa is in no mood to wait. She needs this distraction right now, today, to keep her mind off Joey's secrets. So she does what anyone adjacent to a powerful casino boss would do. She throws a massive, undeniable pile of money at the problem. Vanessa offers Jalen a hefty, eye-watering deposit to drop everything and start the project the very next day. And of course, money talks, so Jalen immediately agrees. If you ask me, this interaction highlights a very subtle but significant shift in Vanessa's character. She is learning how to wield power. She is figuring out how to use Joey's resources to manipulate situations and get exactly what she wants when she wants it. She is adapting to the criminal underworld's way of doing business, even if she doesn't fully realize the transformation happening within her. Now, let us circle back to our resident agent of destruction, Heather. Denied by Andre, ignored by Vanessa, and brushed off by Danny, she decides to take her predatory, restless energy out into the wild. She heads over to Uptown. The atmosphere at Uptown is always ripe for trouble, with its dim lighting, flowing alcohol, and secretive corners. Heather walks into that bar like a lioness surveying a watering hole. She is on the prowl, looking for a distraction, a way to exert her dominance, and a method to remind herself that she is still the one pulling the strings in this town. And in a twist of pure, unadulterated fate, who does the universe place right directly in her path? Carlton. Let us take a hard analytical look at Carlton for a second to understand why this encounter is so explosive. This is a man who just lost a highly emotional, drawn out love triangle battle for Nicole. Kial walked away with the ultimate prize, and Carlton was left standing on the sidelines, forced to play the supportive, amicable, understanding friend. But guys, we all know that playing the good guy takes a massive toll on a man's ego. Carlton is nursing a heavily bruised heart and a deeply wounded pride. He is vulnerable, he is lonely, and he is desperately in need of a win to validate his masculinity and his desirability. He is the absolute perfect prime target for a master manipulator like Heather. A woman like her can smell that kind of emotional vulnerability from across a crowded room, and she knows exactly how to exploit it. The moment Heather and Carlton lock eyes at the bar, the chemistry is instant, electric, and incredibly dangerous. They start drinking together, and the banter quickly shifts from casual conversation to highly charged, heavy flirtation. It is a literal masterclass in seduction. Heather doesn't just talk to him, she reels him in with every word, every look, and every subtle movement. She takes her drink and boldly offers Carlton a taste. Now, if you ask me, this is a classic, calculated, psychological move. Sharing a drink from the same glass is incredibly intimate. It immediately breaks down physical boundaries and establishes a dangerous, intoxicating level of closeness right out of the gate. Heather is testing the waters, pushing the envelope to see exactly how compliant and eager Carlton will be. And how does Carlton react? He swallows the bait, hook, line, and sinker. He leans in, tastes the drink, and smoothly tells Heather that he wants to try his luck. Oh, Carlton, if you only knew the kind of dark, twisted luck you are messing with right now. You are flirting with the Impaler, the ruthless, bloodthirsty leader of an international syndicate. If you ask me, there is a brilliant, incredibly dark irony playing out here. Think about it. Carlton is a dedicated doctor, a man who has sworn an oath to save lives, heal the sick, and do no harm at the hospital. Heather is a criminal mastermind who literally harvests and sells human plasma on the black market for profit. They are complete and total polar opposites, the ultimate representation of life and death, which makes this sudden, fiery physical attraction incredibly dangerous and utterly mesmerizing to witness. Carlton's bruised ego is blinding him completely. He is so relieved to be the center of attention for a beautiful woman that he ignores any potential red flags. He doesn't see the cold, calculating look in Heather's eyes. He just sees a woman who chose him. The conversation at the bar escalates at breakneck speed. Carlton, clearly feeling emboldened by the alcohol, the intense eye contact, and the overwhelming attention from this beautiful, mysterious woman, makes a bold move. He suggests that they leave uptown and take things back to his place. But Heather, always the one who absolutely must maintain the upper hand in every single interaction, smoothly flips the script on him. She flashes a knowing smile and invites him back to her place instead. And Carlton, completely mesmerized and overpowered by her alpha energy, immediately agrees without a second thought. This might seem like a minor, insignificant detail to some, but guys, it is everything. By bringing him to her territory, to her hotel room, Heather establishes total dominance. She is in complete control of the environment, the pacing of the evening, and the ultimate outcome of their encounter. Carlton thinks he is getting lucky, but in reality, he is walking willingly into a spider's web. Meanwhile, as this entire seductive trap is springing shut, Andre is probably sitting somewhere across town, patting himself on the back. He genuinely thinks he successfully managed the Heather situation. He is trying so incredibly hard to keep his distance, to protect his secrets, and to maintain his fragile reconciliation with Danny. But Andre is entirely missing the bigger, much more terrifying picture. He foolishly thinks that by simply ignoring Heather, she will get bored, pack up her designer bags, and fly back to Europe. He completely fails to understand that Heather is like a highly contagious virus. If she cannot infect her primary host, she will not just die off, she will simply mutate, adapt, and attach herself to someone else nearby to ensure her survival and her dominance. By sinking her perfectly manicured claws into Carlton, Heather is effectively embedding herself deeper and deeper into the very fabric of Fairmont Crest. Just think about the intricate connections here, guys. Carlton works at the hospital alongside Kiel. Kiel is in an exclusive relationship with Nicole. Nicole is Ted's ex-wife, and Ted is deeply connected to Martin, Smitty, and the entire political and social elite of the town. Carlton is deeply entrenched in the exact community that Heather is trying to manipulate and control. If you ask me, Heather isn't just looking for a fun, meaningless one night stand to pass the time. She is actively securing a strategic anchor. She is making absolutely sure that even if Andre tries to push her out or expose her, she has another legitimate, undeniable reason to stay in town. She is building a fortress of influence using Carlton's respected status as a shield for her dark activities. The fallout from this new twisted dynamic is going to be nothing short of astronomical. I want you to imagine the sheer horror on Andre's face when he inevitably finds out that the woman stalking him, the woman who holds all of his darkest European secrets in the palm of her hand, is now intimately involved with a respected doctor in his own social circle. He is going to lose his mind. And what happens when Carlton inevitably discovers the horrifying truth about Heather's true identity? He is a man of medicine, a man of ethics, who is currently being completely blinded by a master manipulator. When the veil finally drops and he realizes he has been sleeping with the head of the red market, it is going to destroy his career, his reputation, and his sanity. So, guys, you need to buckle up and prepare yourselves for the absolute worst. Heather is not just causing a little bit of petty chaos. She is meticulously setting the stage for a massive community-wide explosion that will leave no one untouched. She is weaponizing Carlton's loneliness. She is exploiting Vanessa's desperate need for a distraction, and she is playing a terrifying, high-stakes game of chess while Andre is still fumbling around trying to figure out how to play checkers. The level of psychological warfare on display here is staggering. I cannot wait to see how this all unravels, because when Heather finally decides to pull the trigger on her master plan, the devastation in Fairmont Crest is going to be legendary. Stay tuned, because things are about to get incredibly dark.